Hi there, and welcome to the laboratory at Discourse Labs. I understand you represent our underwriters and some other entities that have an interest in our research here. Well, I'll be glad to show you around the lab and give you some information about our recent studies. But first, like all visitors to the laboratory, we're going to need to check your pupils to make sure that they are adequately dilated for the experience. Okay. Looks okay. Yes, okay. Alright, I believe that that's going to be just fine. Now, to begin, mostly we've been involved in biological research. We work closely with agricultural firms and the experimental branches of several large corporations. There have been a number of breakthroughs this year, and I'm excited to show you some of our developments. You'll also get a peek at the chemicals that we have copyrighted that are helping us move into this brave new world where technology is meeting with the plant sciences and creating some very, very interesting things. Well, let's see. So to begin, we have been working with cicadas, grasshoppers, leafhoppers, and other unusual types of insects that have a wide ranging area where they inhabit, okay? So we are indoctrinating certain specimens, and we've already released them into the wild. They've covered most of North America, and we have already tracked a few of them reaching Europe, so that's an exciting development. What we have indoctrinated them with is this very special blend of special particulate matter. This, once again, is copyrighted by our firm, and after a gentle dusting, it breaks through the exoskeleton of the creatures, and it quickly moves into their bloodstream. And as they feast upon the various crops in these American and European regions, the corn, the soybeans, and the other crops, they become indoctrinated with our specialty blend of unusual substances. Let's move a little bit into some of the work that we've been doing with animals. Mostly we're working with plants, but here's a model of a Belizean crocodile. Okay? This creature, found only in the swamp-like areas of Belize, is very special. You'll notice here that the teeth have an unusual formation. Alright? We've been utilizing, once again, some of these chemicals, and our team of scientists in Belize have been capturing these crocodiles and marking and tagging them. What has happened is, through a very unique process, actually the lab sent over a clipboard. Okay. Yeah. Okay. With a unique transformation, the Belizean crocodile is morphing into this new form of biological entity. Already there have been reports. We're trying to quiet down the Belizean government, and we did a pretty good job a few years ago. So we're thinking that because of the scientists and politicians that we have in place in that country, we're going to be able to keep this quiet. But this biomorph has moved already into the countryside, and it's actually probably close to the borders of El Salvador now. It's going to allow us to more quickly get the chemicals and substances into the population of Central America. So with this multi-branch kind of tactic, both utilizing biological substances and plant matter, we're hoping that the chemicals will reach most of the population by the end of 2015. Of course, it's going to be a very slow process that we're going to have to monitor closely. And speaking of that process, here's a quick diagram. Mostly we're working with a seed based on sweet pea or sugar or snap peas. We're calling it seed X. Okay, and I do have an example here. We'll get to that in a moment. But here's the process. You can go on our website, and I'll give you the links, and it'll explain more about what's going on. But especially this chain of reactions here is the most important. See, ending here on W. So seed X eventually is the end result. Okay. And here we have a package of seed X. Now, a few of us in the lab have, because of our dedication to the project, already begun with some special investigative efforts of our own. And I'm going to take you through a little bit of that. And then at the end, I'll show you what we've come up with. Okay, so first of all, we use just about 150 milliliters, it doesn't have to be exact, of regular distilled water. Okay, and we have these very expensive specialty scientific glassware from the Ball Corporation. Okay, and these work best because the vapors that erupt as the chemical reaction takes place, they have to be throttled a little bit, and then this is just perfect for that. And we have some other scientific items that we use in the process, but just for our purposes now, here in the lab, we don't have to worry about that. We can do a quick approximation of what's going on. Now, we just use, as I mentioned, 150 milliliters. Okay. And here we have, in our glowing cup, some solid matter. Now this is formed from a unique process, and downstairs in the lab, as we continue our tour, I'll show you how we craft these. They're entirely safe to touch and to consume. It's kind of a long chain of events to create this. So, what I'm going to do is take one of these. Oh, and incidentally, this is a little bit unusual, but even though it's a solid, it's also kind of in a liquid state. So, it's flammable. Now, let's drop it into the water. Okay, now we'll let that reaction take place just for a couple of moments. All right. Now as we, let's see, shake it up a little bit, you'll start to see a little bit of the transformation occurring. Okay. To continue with the experiment, we're going to use some of our special substance. And just kind of a healthy dusting. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact. You know, this isn't rocket science. Okay, so let's see here. Now, you'll notice here that let's just go ahead and drop it all in there. It's not going to hurt anything. And it might make the end result a little bit more palatable. Alright, so we've got our combination of elements in here, and now we're ready for the seed. Alright, we're just going to use a couple of these seeds. Alright, here we have them. Very special. Alright, now they're floating around in there. You can see the transformation taking place. And it happens very quickly. Yes, there we are. The seeds are now being coated with the special chain reaction of chemicals. And what were once sweet sugar snap pea seeds, they're slowly becoming something much more. Yes, there we are. Have a close look. This too is a special copyrighted process. Now, already I can see the seeds beginning to swell. At this point, the solid liquid substance that was quite flammable, here, the chain of them, they're interacting with both seed X and a special dusting of our important chemical, okay? And, oh yes, already they've grown their stems. Let's see here if I can get a hold of one. They've quadrupled in size. And inside, as they continue to swell, we have thousands of new seeds. This is the crux. This is what we've implanted into the crocodiles of Belize. And this is also what's making its way onto soybean, corn, and other crops. So, would you like to have a look at one of the finished plants? We have a specimen now that's about 3 days old. And it's already producing fruit. Let's just select one and have a quick sample, shall we? The side effects we've noted are a bluing of the extremities and some rather unusual cognitive shifts. Would you like a bite? Here we are. Okay, there we go. Very tasty, right? Different than a normal sweet pea. For me, actually being involved with the research, tasting of its fruits, has been the most rewarding. Now, follow me downstairs, where we'll explore some other important research.